Am I the a-hole for helping my brother run away from his wedding? I have 2 older brothers. This is about the middle one. Our parents divorced when I was very young due to our mother's extreme jealousy. Initially, my dad could handle it, but when she started making comments about me wanting to be like his wife, he had enough. She quickly got together with a guy with 2 kids and had shared custody for a while. But when my dad remarried, she went crazy, calling his new wife every horrible name and claiming he cheated on her while they were married. I was always closer to my brothers and dad than my mom because she was always very mean to me. Long story short, my stepmom died in a bad car accident, and my dad called her in the middle of the night, letting her know he would pick us up earlier so we could attend the funeral, and she decided to take us on a fun trip to celebrate something. It was the happiest we've ever seen her. And when we realized what happened and started crying, she told us only worthless people cry for whores. Needless to say, things went nuclear, and my dad asked for full custody with visitation for her. He always left the line of communication open and paid for us to visit her when she moved away, but it was still very bad, and as soon as we turned 18, we started to lower contact with her. Last time we saw her was at my high school graduation, where she made a point of letting everyone who would hear we were ungrateful kids, and her husband would call us bad names too. We've been no contact since then. My brother Sam started dating his ex 3 years ago. She has heard all the stories and the reasons we are no contact, but believes we are just dramatic. They had many issues due to her opinions, but she eventually seemed to drop the "you need to reconcile with your mother" crusade. During the wedding planning, there was no indication of things going wrong or fishy. Then we got to the church and, lo and behold, Mom, her husband, and 2 kids were sitting at the front. I immediately panicked and called my brothers. Sam thought maybe she found out and intended to crash, so he called his ex to inform her of the potential drama, but she said it was fine since she had invited them. Sam hung up and asked me to go get him, while our oldest brother dealt with things at the church. We went home and stayed put even when his ex, her family, and friends came to try and make sense with him. Mom's husband even called and said he always knew we were worthless. Now that the dust has settled, most of Sam's friends are on his side, along with most of our dad's family. Ex's parents already threatened to sue for the money they paid if he doesn't marry her, but Sam says he'd rather pay them back for their contribution than marry someone who betrayed him. My immediate family 100% supports Sam, but the backlash has been significant. Edit. You guys just reassured us all, thank you. Some have commented about it, but no, she has not apologized. She even went so far as to text my oldest brother Joe that she thought it would be a good wedding present from my brother to her since she values family. My dad bought them a house as a wedding present, but only Sam is on the deed. She did have keys for when they moved there, but they changed the locks today, and Joe and some cousins are taking everything Sam owns from her flat this week. We aren't worried about being sued, but we'll consult a lawyer just in case. We also heard Mom and her family are still in town, but since we are all staying at our childhood home for a few days, we don't care. My dad is sad that Sam is heartbroken, but is trying to cheer him up along with my boyfriend and my sister-in-law. I had to deactivate my social media because I kept getting nasty comments and messages, but the more people learn the reason Sam ran away, the less it happens. I am still sorry she felt humiliated, but my brother comes first. Edit 2. We are 34, 32, and 28. Ex-sister-in-law is 30. Not in the US. I asked Joe about the church aftermath, and it was just as I expected it. He says he stood up in front of everyone and announced that Sam wouldn't be attending and asked them to please head home, stating that all presents sent to our side of the family would be returned as soon as possible. The ex was still outside the church when someone from her family told her, and she began screaming, crying, and incessantly calling Sam. Mom attempted to converse with Joe, but he ignored her, and when she couldn't elicit any response from him, she started crying loudly and lamenting how awful we are to her. Some people began to comfort her, which is her usual behavior, but Joe and his wife didn't care. As they left the church, the ex was waiting for them, demanding to see Sam. Joe refused, and when she asked what to do with the party, he said if she didn't want the venue, he would have the food donated to the staff to avoid waste. Everyone was shouting except Joe because he didn't want to give Mom the satisfaction. They, Joe and sister-in-law, came home after stopping at the supermarket and some fast food places, and we've been inside like kids again, plus 2 more people. We asked Sam if he wanted them to leave, but he said he wanted them here. We had all taken time off to spend family time after the wedding anyway, so it's not a problem right now. When the ex came to the gate, we knew she wasn't going to use the venue, so my sister-in-law contacted them with Sam's information, told them to take the food, and also sent them some tips for their effort. It seems we will get back all the alcohol that my dad paid for, so we will have a very drunk end of the year. A few people messaged me asking why our dad ever married our mom, and the answer is he truly loved her and thought she was the nicest person ever. Turns out she wasn't, but she knew nobody, except I guess her nasty husband would marry her unless she pretended to be nice. He thought about staying with her until we reached adulthood, but she kept deteriorating. She would occasionally become very pleasant, leading him to believe she was changing, only to revert again. According to my ex-sister-in-law, we have no doubt she thinks Mom is a nice person who has unappreciative kids because she is incredibly charming and enjoys making fun of others as long as the jokes aren't aimed at her. However, this doesn't excuse the ex. The only person Sam offered an explanation to was his boss who was at the church. His boss is very understanding and was quite shocked by what Mom put us through to, since we are generally well-adjusted, happy people. Our dad said that it was a shock for all of us, and we can stay home as long as we need. Sam is moving back home for the time being. I showed my family the post, and they are touched by your kindness. But Sam wants you all to know the ex wasn't showing any concerning behaviors, and he genuinely believed she understood his background. He agreed to talk to her and her parents today, but only if it's at our home, and we are there to support him, so it's going to be an interesting visit. Update. First, some additional information. Sam lost some money, but it's not going to harm him. Her parents paid for her dress, a very fancy cake, and part of the honeymoon. The ex wasn't the most beloved in-law, but we genuinely believed she loved Sam. We have no contact with mom's side. Joe used to have some contact with grandma, but after his wedding, another shit show avoided, he cut her off too. Mom's comments about me wanting to be the wife stemmed from her belief that it was inappropriate for us to have daddy-daughter days or outings. The thing is, there were also Daddy Joe days and Daddy Sam days. He always tried to spend time with us individually and as a group. She is just sick. We don't publicize our childhood. So when people ask about our parents, the standard answer is, just my dad, or it's just my siblings and my dad. Most people assume mom is dead, and it helps avoid the whole inquiry about not talking to her. Mom's stepkids are both male and in their early 30s. Dad has a long-term girlfriend, and we like her a lot. She has been doing her own things these past few days, but she says we have her full support. Now the update. I was curious why Sam accepted the meeting after not even speaking to her, but it turns out she sent videos and photos of all his belongings on the floor to his best friend Tom, and told him that Sam either talked to her or she would burn, destroy it all. Tom visited Sam, told him what happened, and they informed her they need access to the apartment before anything happens. Tom, Joe, a few cousins, and my boyfriend went and gathered his clothes, electronics, and important paperwork. Sam said he didn't care about the rest, and even made a little joke about them being the fastest moving crew he knew. The meeting was, for lack of a better word, an absurd event. She came with her parents and sisters, tried to speak to Sam alone, but when he didn't allow it, she just began talking. Not once did she apologize. She said it's not her fault we don't understand the value of a real family, and we were raised to hate mothers. Her only intention was for Sam to learn to value mothers because she was scared he would take her children away from her, because that is what he was taught to do. Sam didn't say anything until she threw the, "This family is like a cult and you are a terrible father," looking at my dad. As you may imagine, this is a sore spot for all of us, and we don't allow insults towards our dad under any circumstance. Sam just ranted about how she was a deceitful liar. He was repulsed he ever touched even her hand. He was thankful to the universe that I am always early to everything. He told her that staying with a cheating husband like her mom does is nothing to be proud of. He said she pretended to be kind just so he would marry her. He vented all the minor things that he was willing to ignore because he genuinely did love her, or at least who he thought she was. He said he would never forgive her for the pain she caused his siblings, but he doesn't hate her because that would require him to spend energy thinking about her, and she doesn't deserve that. At the end, he said she had enough time to clear things up, and since she has acted like the victim, he will be the one to let everybody know why he didn't show. It was harsh but cathartic and necessary for Sam. Her parents said nothing but were very red. She was crying. Her sisters tried to defend her and their parents' relationship and were kind of expecting my whole family to argue too, but we didn't. Then Sam told his ex-Phil he could sue if he wanted, but if he did, Sam would reveal all his family's dirty laundry to the world, and he doubts he wants that. Amazingly, the dad still argued Sam could try and make amends and marry his ex because they are not getting any younger, and all families fight. I've never rolled my eyes harder. The rest of the meeting went about logistics for the return of the wedding gifts already received, stopping the harassment from their family, the cancellation and refund of the honeymoon, the changing of the locks. His ex just kept crying and trying to talk to Sam, but he was in business mode and didn't want anything from her. He only replied to her directly when she said she was keeping her engagement ring with "nobody asked for it." They left without issues. When the booze was delivered, mom and husband sneaked through the gate when we opened it. She said she just wanted to talk to her babies, and my dad asked her to leave. She kept yelling that he raised us wrong and we just humiliated her with our behavior. She couldn't believe we were such awful people, and we should start making amends with her because we clearly lack maternal love. She got that right. And this was the pathetic outcome. At that point, Joe went out and told her to leave since the police were on their way. She took it as an opportunity to cry, since it's the first time in about a decade he talked to her, and tried to sweet-talk him into going to grab dinner with her and her husband. But Joe just told her to leave, and the only news he ever wanted to hear related to her were the ones about her funeral, so he could go celebrate. Cue hysterical crying and screaming from the husband, demanding an apology and threatening to hit Joe. Dad and Joe went back inside and left them there until we saw they left and closed the gate. It is hard for some people to understand why we react like we do, but the things I wrote about our mother are just the tip of the iceberg. Dad wasn't exactly proud of what Joe said, but he understood he needed to let it out, and he was speaking for all of us. Maybe that makes us bad people, but we truly don't want to see this woman ever again. We are all going to have some family therapy besides our individual sessions. Sam doesn't want the house anymore, but my dad says to take it slow, and the first step is to mend his heart. We have had horror movie marathons and some Disney classics sprinkled sprinkled here and there. We also had a drama bingo thing going on of all the things that could possibly happen. I guess we are truly dramatic after all. We love each other and we're raised to treat people well, but we can be petty when pushed. I also feel better knowing she embarrassed herself. And while I wouldn't wish to be left at the altar on anyone, I would do it again because I love my brother more than I feel bad for her. We will be going on a family trip eventually, but right now we will continue our staycation. To the person that said Joe is a hero, his siblings couldn't ask for a better brother and friend. We've read everything so far. Thank you for letting me vent, the awards, the messages. I am sorry if my English was not up to standards. Joe and Sam's names are obviously fake, but Daniela, go yourself. Little note, my brothers are reading your messages and comments, and they want you to know we know how lucky we are. They appreciate the positivity and want you to know it gets better for those in the same boat. And you are all welcome to our cult. Update. First, more clarifications. If you want to send a PM, that is fine, even if it is to insult us. Please know I will only answer publicly. Joe wasn't forced to take on parental duties. To the person who wrote me a mean essay about it, here is the response. My brothers spent time with me because they wanted to. We had special days together or with each other. They did all the activities they wanted, had many friends, went on trips with me or alone, etc. There were nannies, family, and my dad. They were never forced to take me with them against their will. They had a lot of freedom within reason. My parents divorced when I was 3, and even if there was shared custody, we stayed 90% with dad and rarely visited our mother unless we were in at least pairs. The only times Joe or Sam visited her after turning 18 was when I was requested to visit because they didn't want me to go alone. We have all been in therapy for a very long time. We are just having special sessions because we saw our mother, but Joe is the only one who interacted with her. Also, please know we, Sam and I, know how to defend ourselves and didn't ask Joe to confront her. He did it by himself. Why didn't my dad go to the church with Joe? Because he was asked by Sam to go home. We didn't think he needed to see that woman even if he had to talk to her after. Sam has cried he is not a monster. He is heartbroken, thought he would spend the rest of his life with Daniela, thought he was a good judge of character, thought he didn't have to see our mother ever again. There are many emotions going on, but because of our upbringing, we are very good at keeping our emotions in check in front of people we don't trust or like. It was a survival skill we developed to deal with how we were treated. Joe had a relationship with grandma but stopped talking to her after she invited mother as her +1. There was no religious ceremony, the venue had security, and there was a no entry list. He sent grandma a letter and didn't talk to her again. We also didn't attend her funeral. The wedding was about 250 guests. When making the wedding list and seating charts, she used other names, which is how we didn't know about it. Daniela is not Brazilian. My dad requested that I inform you all that his kids are not alcoholics. He is worried people think that, even if this is anonymous. LOL. Anyway, this week has been really chaotic. Those who said to be prepared for the pregnancy tactic were incredibly accurate. She posted it online, people were freaking out again and calling Sam, asking him if it was true. Sam called her and asked that she delete it. She continued claiming she was pregnant. He asked her to delete it and to come talk about it. She deleted it, met up with Sam, and somehow this crazy woman thought he wanted her back. I went with Sam. She was very happy until she saw me enter the place. She started crying, holding her stomach, and when Sam asked her if she really was pregnant, she said yes and told him she didn't want her child to be from a broken family. Sam informed her they were heading to the doctor immediately to confirm, and she cried even more, yelling that he didn't trust her. Long story short, she isn't pregnant, but she posted that Sam was making her have an abortion, and she was heartbroken. As you can imagine, this was a terrible thing to say. People were calling Sam because they are so confused by the drama they don't know what to believe anymore. When my sister-in-law, Anna, found out about the posts and the meeting, she called Daniela. I am unsure what was said in that conversation, but I have never seen Anna this angry. The posts are down, but Anna wrote an email with all relevant information, including that Daniela was never pregnant, and sent it to everyone on the wedding list. This morning, we heard Daniela had a breakdown after leaving voicemails telling Sam if she couldn't be with him, she wanted to die. This is another tactic straight out of our mother's playbook, and Sam simply called the police and told them what happened. Her family forced her into therapy, and she is under observation right now. It brings us no joy that it came to this, but we don't want to get involved anymore. We are also changing our phone numbers and have already requested it. Our mother emailed Anna, threatening to sue her for defamation regarding the email blast, but we are not concerned about it either. Anna's parents are wonderful, and they have made it perfectly clear they are on our side and completely agree with the way she handled things. Joe was furious, but Anna convinced him to let it go and simply move on. Mother's husband has been a delight as usual, and dad is considering a restraining order, but they are not very effective in our country. We did have a gathering at home yesterday, and it was a lot of fun. There was karaoke, dancing, good food and drinks, games, and a bouncy house, because why not? We love them. Most people avoided the topic of the wedding and the posts, but those who brought it up did so tactfully. Dad had already given away much of the alcohol to his workers. They got to pick what they liked and received a bottle each. He is also including bottles in his Christmas hampers this year. We are planning to spend the holidays together and traveling. I told Sam about the new paint for the house, but he just doesn't want to live there. He prefers to rent it. I joked about simply eloping or not having a formal wedding to avoid drama, and Joe told me, in no uncertain terms, I get the biggest party ever if I choose to. So yeah, he is still the best. Thank you for your nice comments and messages, not thanking the rude ones, the awards, and the interest. Sorry to the nice Danielas out there. The you wasn't for you. Update. Thank you for all your interest. You are very nice, and it's always a blast logging in to update you on our cult. First, some points. Hi, best sub and YouTube. You're part of the family story now. I do read every single comment, message, etc. Some commented I particularly lacked a feminine figure in my life, but I had my grandma, aunts, etc. My dad's girlfriend, Rita, is not a mother figure, and I don't feel I am a bad woman because of it. When I got my period and told my dad, he had a whole thing prepared. Then he informed my brothers, and each had a whole thing prepared themselves. They each had their own approach, and the others didn't know about it. Long story short, I had 3 men taking care of it and even doing a presentation about it. It might sound super awkward for me, but was even more awkward for them. It is a hilarious story and reminds me how much they thought about me all the time. Rita is amazing and we love her, but she has no problem not being married to my dad. My dad doesn't want to get married again. If he did, we would support him. Daniela is okay. Her sisters tried to create huge drama and accuse us of being horrible, but after the email sent by Anna, nobody is buying it. One of them was also dumped by her boyfriend because he didn't want to be associated with a toxic family. I will not disclose where we live or what our dad does for a living, so please don't ask about it again. We have new numbers, new social media handles, and are planning to move, Joe and I. Also, I do have a little note with the fake real names relation and do type my posts in Word. It's mainly so I don't mess up my ramblings. My dad wants you all to know your applications to the cult have been accepted. Anyway, I checked the last update and I can't believe it was only in early November. I have mostly good updates for you. Sam is doing well. He is taking time off work. His boss is very understanding about him needing time and told him he can always come back. He is still living with dad and has savings, so he is not worried about that aspect. He is running now and has decided to run a marathon next year. He is more and more his goofy self and is doing renovations at home, or in other words, dad and Sam are trying to paint some rooms and do murals. It is hilarious and they have a lot of fun. Daniela wrote him a letter, but he sent it back. The house was put on the market as a rental and he is okay with it. I am engaged. It turns out it has been months in the making, and when I made the joke about eloping, my future husband, Matt, panicked thinking I discovered the plan. He spoke with Sam, who already knew of the plans, because he didn't want to make him uncomfortable, but Sam said it would actually make him uncomfortable if he didn't. He also spoke with Joe and my dad. My dad made him sweat when he asked for my hand, saying it was not his to give, but they say it was all in good fun. It happened earlier this month. I am very excited, but not as much as my dad. He says he wants to walk me down even if it is a civil wedding. While my news is amazing, I believe the other big news around are better. Joe and Anna have been on the adoption list for a while, and as of a few weeks ago, Habima's baby. She is the most beautiful, sweetest, best baby ever. The adoption is finalized as it usually is in our country for newborn or almost newborn babies. We knew they wanted to adopt for a while, so when they told us about the baby being officially theirs, there was a lot of crying, but it was happy crying. Dad is in full grandpa mode, and even as bad as some things got this year, this is the best thing that happened to our family in years. Mom did learn about the baby and demanded an introduction. She has been served our version of an order of protection. She is never putting her eyes on her if we can help it. Those are the bad news. Due to the new COVID, we decided to stay home. Now with the new addition, we wouldn't travel, of course. We had a Christmas welcome baby shower, engagement, small gathering last weekend, which Joe and niece didn't attend since she is too young, but they were there via Zoom. We all agreed to give Sam some funny gifts such as t-shirts, mugs, sweatshirts, etc. of Julia Roberts, since you know he is the runaway bride of the family. The reason Joe and I are considering moving is that we live in apartments at the moment, and we want to live in houses. We are still shaken up, and we know we have work to do, but we know we have so much, and we want to focus on that because the negative is in the minority. And no matter what happens, I am always grateful for my family. I believe this will be the last update, folks. I know the last ones have been mainly drama-free and might not be as exciting, but we aim for that. Not planning on deleting anything. The account will be here in case something worth updating happens. I wish you all the best.